we're going to go over some branding for your company today, just like an exercise on how you can build a better brand in terms of your messaging.
Oh,
So
so
if
there's a test. Had I known you were going to give us a test, I would have moved to the next person. All right.
it's not a test, it's an exercise.
Oh,
I'm not grading anybody. Everybody gets A pluses. So I will just start off while everyone's kind of getting prepared. My name is Desiree Hellick. I own Clarence Services, which is a marketing agency out here in New Jersey. And we are helping small businesses who rely solely on word of mouth and referrals to build a solid marketing foundation so that they have a more reliable growth method. And so in the last little while, we have really restructured our brand. And one of the reasons is because I read one of my friend's books, actually. We both remember the book that I came out with, the chapter 10 this year. At the same time, one of my friends wrote a book and she runs a branding agency. And I had no clue what I was getting myself into when I opened the book, because it's called Muting the Megaphone by Kate DeLeo. And I don't know if anyone's heard of her, but she's definitely promoting herself a lot, public speaking a lot, and she's getting her name out there a lot more than she used to. And with this book, it gave her a lot of publicity, but I was reading her book, not knowing what I was getting into. And it was this amazing walkthrough creating messaging for your brand and the proper way to do it and the simplified way to do it. So I thought we could spend 10 minutes today. It was kind of this last minute, like, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? And I thought I could talk about my company, but I really want to talk about helping you guys create messaging for your own company and how to simplify it. So without getting into like crazy amounts of detail, there's three things we're going to go through today. The first one is creating your tagline. So you can write that down and leave space underneath it. The second thing is creating a value proposition statement. Okay, so what value are you bringing your prospects? And the third thing is your set of differentiators that make you stand out from your competitors. Because let's face it, we all have competitors, especially me. Digital marketing agencies, I mean, we're a dime a dozen, right? You throw a rock and you hit one, but why are we different? So taking you through these exercises hopefully will bring some clarity into your brand and what you offer. And it might even cause you to reposition yourself or, either choose a niche, or if you haven't already, or, just really identify what does differentiate yourself. So the first thing is your tagline. And what your tagline should be. Now, we're not thinking about Just Do It, right? What is Just Do It? What brand is that?
Nike.
Nike, right? Does that tell us what Nike does? Absolutely not. But Nike is big enough that they can have any tagline and we're just going to memorize it because they have billions of dollars in marketing budgets. So for us, we don't have that. So an effective tagline is one that actually says, this is what I do. And so when I started this exercise, I thought my tagline was Startup Marketing Simplified. And so what does that tell you? It tells you that I work with startups. It tells you that I do marketing, and it tells you that I simplify it. But I still didn't feel like that was what really represented what we do, because we don't always work with startups, right? It's not always simplified. we do always do marketing. So that was the one thing that we got right. So what I came up with is building solid marketing foundations, because that's really what we do, right? And remember, the honeybee is my logo. And part of that is because honeybees build the honeycomb before they fill it with honey. And that's what I teach my clients to do. You build that solid foundation before you start building on top of it. And one of those things would be your brand, right? Your messaging. That is a pillar that you need to get built before you start doing anything else. You can't build a website with Paul if you don't have a message to put on your website, right? So your tagline, it should be short, maybe like 5 to 6 words maximum. The least amount of words, the better, but it should speak directly about what you do. Okay. And that's going to be the quickest thing that we're talking about today. And you guys can ask me questions later if you need to. The next thing we're going to go into is the value proposition statement. What this is this says, this is how I solve your problem. Okay. So you need to first do some research into who your target audience really is. Who are you looking for that could use your products or services? And then once you do that, make sure you write it down, write a description about who your target audience is. It's more than just age and gender. It's about their behavior. It's about where they hang out, what they do for a living, how much money do they make? Are they parents? Are they teenagers? Are they, who are these people? And what do they like to do and what keeps them up at night? When you can understand what their pain points are, then you can create messaging that will solve those pain points. It will allow them to sleep at night because you are the solution to their problems, right? So the first thing from your value proposition statement is the pain statement. Okay, so like highlight their problem. What is it? Write it down. What keeps them up at night? And then the second part of your value proposition statement is your call to action statement. So it's, how do you solve that problem? And this is really simple. And I can read you what I have for mine. So many companies solely rely on word of mouth or referrals to grow their brands. This is their pain point, right? That's all I do. I wait for people to talk about my brand before I get more business. Or I have to ask somebody else to come to me so that I can build my revenue up. That's an issue because it's not consistent. And then the next part of my value prop statement is, this is not an effective growth plan as it's unreliable and will not bring in enough revenue to grow at a steady rate. And then I say we specialize, and this is a new thing that most of you don't even know. I think Paul knows this, but we specialize in the legal, financial, and coaching industries. Okay, so this tells people what their pain statement is, right? And then we can go into businesses need revenue to grow, and the only way to grow is with a marketing plan that will promote your brand effectively and bring in new customers. To solve this, you need to create a superior marketing foundation. So I bring in my tagline, right? With quality leadership and content that speaks to your specific target audience on the right channels. So that in a nutshell is my value prop statement. It has the two parts. It has the pain statement that they're going through that keeps them up at night. And then it has the solution to that problem and how I bring that to them. So if you guys can build this, that's going to be super effective. And this is the first thing people should see when they go to your website, when they read your boilerplate, when they go on your social media platforms and there's just a description about the company. You should see the very first thing should be your value proposition statement. Then we're going to move to step 3, and that's your set of differentiators. So for your differentiators, this is what sets you apart from your competitors. Okay. So this is tough sometimes in certain industries because it's like, for example, I used to work in the propane and oil industry where they're delivering, like for heating oil and propane, where they deliver oil or propane, and all the competitors have the exact same oil and propane. It doesn't matter where it's made. It all comes from the ground. It's all the same. So how do you differentiate yourself? Is that through customer service? Is that through guarantees? Is that through fast delivery? Is that through 24-hour service? So these are things that you want to pull out that say, hey, I am not like that competitor over there because I do this, 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 and this. So for our differentiators, the first thing is that we specialize in the legal, financial, and coaching industries. Okay. And again, this is a new thing because I realized that I needed to find a niche. Being industry agnostic for me wasn't, even though we were growing at a steady rate, I felt like in order for me, our goals are to reach 7 figures. And I felt that we needed a niche. So that's how I differentiated. That's one of our differentiators. So we specialize in certain industries. That's one differentiator. The other ones are that we are accommodating and flexible. Okay. We are also accessible. So a lot of times you'll hire an agency and you cannot get a hold of them. You are like, it's like, okay, where were you all week? What have you been doing? So we communicate, we're flexible, we're accommodating. We are fun and adventurous, and we're playful, but we're focused. So these things make it fun to work with our team. We have USA-based employees. We are dedicated to quality over quantity, and we are cost effective, but we are not cheap. So here is a list of 5 different differentiators. Actually, there's 6 because of our industry focus. But these are some things that you want to think about for your own company, and always write them down. And then when somebody lands on your website, your tagline is going to be there and they're going to know right away what you do. Then your value prop statement is going to be there. You're going to identify their pain points, which is going to speak to the target audience. And then you're going to speak to your call to action statement, how you solve those problems. And then you're going to follow with, we are different because, and then your list of differentiators. So if you guys can work on this stuff, then it's going to really help you bring some clarity to your branding and your messaging. And if you have any questions, let me know.